Morning has come, arise and greet the day. Dance with joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of hope here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. A new day dawns, once more the gift is given. Wonder fills this moment shared together. The light of peace here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. Open our eyes to see that life abounds. Open hearts to welcome it among us. The light of love here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home.
We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. May we shine a light of love. May we shine a light of love. With every thought, with every step we take, may we shine a light of love. May we shine a light of hope. May we shine a light of hope. With every thought, with every step we take, may we shine a light of hope. This morning, for our Time for All Ages, I have a story to share with you all. This is a little bit of an unusual story in the fact that it has no words. So this is a picture book that is entirely pictures and allows your imagination to really take the reins as far as the story goes. So before I share this sidewalk flowers with you, I just want to invite you, as you're watching the story, to observe where there is color and where there is monochromaticness, and where the flowers go in this story. I haven't quite figured out why sometimes it pauses the screen sharing, so I'm just going to try one more time.
These roses under my window make no reference to former roses or to better ones. They are for what they are. They exist with God today. There is no time to them. There is simply the rose. It is perfect in every moment of its existence. Before a leaf bud has burst, its whole life acts in the full-blown flower. There is no more. In the leafless root, there is no less. Its nature is satisfied, and it satisfies nature in all moments alike. But we postpone or remember. We do not live in the present, but with reverted eye lament the past, or heedless of the riches that surround us, stand on tiptoe to foresee the future. We cannot be happy or strong until we too live with nature in the present above time. That was Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Ready. In the scented bud of the morning, oh, when the windy grass went rippling far, I saw my dear one walking slow in the field where the daisies are. We did not laugh and we did not speak as we wandered happily to and fro. I kissed my dear on either cheek in the bud of the morning, oh. A lark sang up from the breezy land, a lark sang down from a cloud afar, as she and I went hand in hand in the field where the daisies are.
This community of care is created through our time together, our commitment to one another. This is our covenant, to walk together in loving fellowship, to share our hopes and values. As we pass these baskets, both virtual and in person today, we thank you for your generous gifts which support the work of this religious community and Unitarian Universalism in the world at large. As we take this time to enter into our moment of gratitude, I just invite us to reflect on the beauty that is all around us right now. The flowers, the colors, the smells of summer. Let us take this time to just be grateful for that which we have, and that we can be here today being grateful together.
This congregation is a community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to its life, we affirm our lives within it.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
So here we are. It has been quite the year. So I don't know why I'm crying, but whatever. What have I learned this year? I have learned that a faith community is more than just a place to come on Sunday mornings. I have learned that a parking lot can be just as important as a sanctuary. I have learned that looking into a computer screen with 70 other faces can make me cry just as easily as looking out into a sanctuary filled with those same faces. I have learned that important life-changing social justice work doesn't quarantine itself or go away during a pandemic. I have learned that the people I want to be surrounded with during pandemics, quarantines, and race riots are right here, right now. I have learned that I have never been more honored or proud to be your minister. I have learned that we got this, and we've got this because of the work we have been doing for the past few years. Because we have been strengthening our roots as a faith community, we are steady and grounded, and therefore we were ready to face a pandemic. We were ready to participate in protests or whatever else this year threw at us. We have done this work collectively as a faith community. We have done the work individually, and we have done the work together as a civic community here in Grand Junction, partnering with Grand Junction Mutual Aid and many other community organizations. And so with the deep inner reflective work that we began a few years ago, as we work on understanding the dynamics around white privilege, racial inequality, all the work that we've been doing, learning how to be activists, we understand that this is ongoing and deep work, and it requires new layers of understanding and healing. And so this year, as we're moving, maybe, hopefully, out of a pandemic, even though this virus is still very much here, especially in the Grand Valley, our work is not done. It is probably in a lot of ways just beginning. And yet, I'm so excited that we get to be a part of it. And so over the years, we have strengthened our relationships and forged friendships with a number of community organizations, including the Hispanic Affairs Project and the Colorado Immigration Rights Coalition. We have worked alongside the Grand Junction Interfaith Community, organizing different events and participating in multi-organizational work in Grand Junction. And so these relationships and friendships formed within our community has sustained us as we had to go within, and now as we start to come out again, as we spent a year not being able to see anybody's faces, and now we get to smile at people occasionally. And there is nothing more beautiful than a genuine smile. And so I thank you for this beautiful year. I thank you for this beautiful faith community. And I send each one of you deep love and a big virtual hug as we end out this church year together and move forward together. And so what I would like us to do now is to take the time to thank one another. But before we do that, I especially want to throw out a huge thank you to Elizabeth High, who has been our board president through a pandemic. I don't know why I'm crying. I'm sorry, Elizabeth. Elizabeth has been our president through a pandemic, a very contentious national election, a country who is more divided now than ever, and she quietly and extremely conscientiously has helped keep us all together. And so my guess is that most of you have no idea how much Elizabeth was quietly doing behind the scenes these past 2 years to support me, to support our wonderful staff, and to support this congregation. So I would like us to take this moment to say thank you to our fearless board president. And of course, Elizabeth has not done this alone. We have had so many people working to keep this faith community up and running this year. The entire board and the TLC has been amazing. TLC stands for Team Leadership Circle. Angie Ecker stepped up to be our fearless auctioneer for a very successful auction and now is helping to put together this yard sale along with an amazing group of yard sale volunteers. Peg and Cheryl and a number of people that I know I'm not naming right now that have been at those meetings. Chelsea has had an amazing group of religious education volunteers and Sunday school teachers. John Mayo always answers the phone on Sunday mornings when I am in a panic about a technology issue. Joel is the reason we have a functioning sprinkler system. And there are so many other things that have come together and been done this year quietly and behind the scenes that all of you have been part of. And I can't specifically name each and everything that every person has done because it would go on and on and on. And so I thank you all for being part of this community. And so what I would like us to do, if you have been part of a Sunday morning worship via Zoom or in person, please raise your hand. That would be everybody here. If you participated in any of the many marches or rallies last year, raise your hand. If you helped out with Grand Junction Mutual Aid on a Tuesday or brought some food to share with people, raise your hand. If you just sent somebody a welcoming, we miss you smile or text or chat during Sunday, raise your hand because those little we missed you and we see you statements are so important. And so I'd like us to take time to thank each other right now. What I am going to do is I'm going to read this litany, and after each sentence, I will invite you to look around, whether you are here in the sanctuary or you might keep looking at your cat or your dog or the person in the room next to you, and or you can talk to some plants. And what you're going to say is, and so we thank you. So here we go. When there was a need, you came forward, and so we thank you. In the nighttime or daytime, on weekends, and even in the coldest, darkest part of the year, you helped. And so we thank you. Elected and duly appointed or quietly, anonymously, and unbidden, you did what needed doing. And so we thank you. Sometimes with the help of many hands, other times alone, you worked. And so we thank you. You gave your time, talent, and even your treasure for the life of this congregation. And so we thank you. Your families and loved ones supported you in your efforts, worried for you when things piled up, and perhaps grumbled at you for the extent of your commitment. And so we thank your families and loved ones for all the things great and small you have given this congregation. We take time today to recognize and to say, thank you. Thank you. And now we are going to attempt to do our first fully hybrid flower ceremony. So we'll see how this goes via Zoom and in person. But I want to give a little bit of history about what this flower communion is. And what I'm going to share with you now is taken from the UUA website. So these are not my words, and they were written out by Reginald Zottili. So the Unitarian Universalist Flower Communion service, which we are about to celebrate, was originated in 1923 by Dr. Norbert Čapek, founder of the modern Unitarian movement in Czechoslovakia. On the last Sunday before the summer recess of the Unitarian Church in Prague, all the children and adults participated in this colorful ritual, which gives concrete expression to the humanity-affirming principles of our liberal faith. When the Nazis took control of Prague in 1940, they found Dr. Čapek's gospel of the inherent worth and beauty of every human person to be, as Nazi court records show, quote, too dangerous for the Reich, for him to be allowed to live. Dr. Čapek was sent to Dachau, where he was killed the next year during a Nazi medical experiment. This gentleman suffered a cruel death, but his message of human hope and decency lives on through his flower communion, which is widely celebrated in Unitarian Universalist congregations today. It is a noble and meaning-filled ritual which we are about to recreate. And so we use flowers in our ceremony this morning to help us symbolize the love that is hidden deep inside us. Flowers are beautiful, and so are the feelings of love among people. Their beauty cannot be measured, and neither can the feelings of people be measured. Their life is short, but new flowers will replace the flowers that die, and new love can come into our hearts. The buds are for the new babies who have joined us this year. Last year, these babies did not exist. This year, they are among us. These flowers represent people living all over the world. Maybe we will never see them face to face or touch their hands, but we can still warm our hands on their hearts because we know that their hopes are like our hopes, their pain is like our pain, their love is like our love. So these flowers were brought here by different people, and we put them together on this beautiful flower chalice that we'll be spotlighting in a minute that Bill Timer made for us many years ago. And we're gonna open it up to do a little bit of ceremony and decorate our chalice, and also to send one another blessings via Zoom and in person. So as we get started with this flower communion, we are gonna let some of Kathleen's beautiful music start us off with this little rose.
Nobody knows this little rose, it might a pilgrim be. Did I not take it from the ways and lift it up to thee? Only a bee will miss it, only a butterfly, hastening from far journey on its breath. Only a bird will wander, only a breeze will sigh. A little rose, how easy for such as thee to die.
Thank you, Kathleen. That was beautiful. So what I'm going to try to do, and we will see how this works, I'm going to spotlight our flower chalice. And I'm going to allow everybody to unmute themselves. And then what I think we're going to try to do is we have some flowers here. And so if you would like to unmute yourself and offer the congregation a blessing, if you're on Zoom, I'll invite you to do that. And then while you're speaking, we'll put a flower in the chalice in your honor as you speak, if that makes sense. And we'll see how that goes. And for the people that are here, if you'd also like to put a flower in the chalice, and if you'd like to say anything, then you can just come over here to my computer and speak into that. So why don't we see how this goes? Barbara, would you maybe, as people speak, would you be the person, and maybe a few other people could decorate our chalice for us as we go? Okay. So Piera, I see that you have unmuted yourself. Would you like to say something about your flower or a blessing for the congregation?
Well, I've got multiple flowers, but I don't have one in front of me, but the flowers just give one strength and not I can't think of the word, to just bloom like they do and create beautiful things. And if things die, that's life. And so it's always ongoing, life is, and beauty.
Thank you, Piera.
Certainly.
Joni, go ahead.
Well, I meant to get over to the church and I did not, but I did pick some fresh flowers this morning from my garden. And I just wanted to point out the yellow flower right here, the yellow and orange flower right here. So this variety of flower is called Bidens, and it is growing very prolifically in my garden right now. And so for me, it's sort of a symbol that things are looking up.
Betsy, I know you're the one person that actually made a video for us. So we're going to show your video too, or Liam's video, but would you like to say something?
That's all I was going to say. I didn't know if we were going to show that. Liam he picked an iris from our garden and he wanted to use his white privilege, I guess there's nothing else to call it, to give voices or help So trying to teach him about that responsibility. That's it.
Thanks, Betsy. Dee Dee, what would you like to say?
I just want to say thank you for being here. And I'm still new. I'm still I plan to get a lot more involved as I can. I'm very, very busy with work right now, but I love this congregation. And I actually went last Sunday after service to the park to try to meet some of you, but I had my dogs with me and they were acting up so bad I could not get out. But I will meet you soon. And but thank you. Blessings to you all. And I don't have any flowers, but I do have some sunflowers growing and I can see them through my window. So wishes, here's an imaginary sunflower for you all. And thank you all very much.
Thank you. And we'll put a flower on the chalice in your name. And we're glad you found us, Dee Dee. And we're not going anywhere. So there's plenty of time for you to come and get to know us in person.
Thank you.
Soraya, what would you like to say?
Dee Dee, I have your sunflowers. So these flowers are actually for Sandy Dorr and her husband. I'm so grateful for their guidance. They are amazing people and put together this wonderful hike through, I believe it's called the Gold Star Canyon. And I recommend it next year. And because of you, Sandy, and I forgot her husband's name, I apologize.
Carrie.
Carrie, yeah, Terry. So the sunflower represents communion, community, strength in communication, and spirit and truth. And these are the flowers for you too, because it's just a representative of who you are and what this community represents to me. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Soraya. And Floyd is coming up. He's going to say a little something.
I want to thank the congregation and the care team for sending flowers to my wife, who's at Forsyth, recovering from a broken leg in a car accident. And I brought flowers from that particular bouquet that the congregation sent me. One of the flowers is down in the bottom, but the green flame at the top was in the, and it's, somebody may know what it is, but it's a flower, but it's green. The very top thing. Anyway, thank you, congregation. Tamara's doing okay. She's got 2 months of non-weight bearing on her right leg, so it'll be a long recovery. Thank you again, everybody.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I just want to say thank you to, there's just so many people to thank, but especially the RE team and everything we've received, all of the things that have been prepared for the kids, and the lovely handmade birthday card we got from Margot. It's just such a caring group. They do so much. So thank you to them, and of course to everybody else who makes things run smoothly for the church.
And a huge thank you to Miriam for all of the beautiful music that she is leading the choir through. It's the choir is sounding so wonderful. So thank you, Miriam.
Thanks, Wendy.
Monty or Elizabeth, go ahead.
Thanks, Wendy. We are so blessed to have you as our minister that I just don't even have words. So thank you for your service to our community. Thank you, thank you.
Amen.
It's my honor. Isn't it fun to see how it just starts to come to life, this beautiful flower chalice? Martha, go ahead.
I would just like to say that UUCGV and its people are a congregation that lives into its values and its covenant in a righteous way, and you guys rock. And I said something earlier before we started that the chalice was made by Bill Timer, and when I think of him, I think of how he used to talk about the importance of love. And I think the love that exists at UUCGV is amazing and shows in everything that you do. We do. I'm still a part.
All right, and we will continue to put flowers on, but we have a special song that it's my favorite song that I always love to sing on at the end of Flower Communion. So we're going to close out today with "Come Sing a Song with Me."
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Peg or Chelsea, can you sing us out?
Yes. Go your way in peace, wander as you may. Blessed is the path you take. May love guide you on your way.